Now at 5 on WHAS 11 News, Ford's big gamble on electric comes home to its oldest Louisville plant. Ford CEO even saying it's a risk. But they're going big time on a mid-sized electric SUV, preserving more than 2,000 local jobs. You'll also hear from the governor.
And now he's facing a major bond. The man arrested in the kidnapping of a Linden family Friday morning, then robbing a bank near Oxmoor Center. The controversy over his earlier shock probation as Kentucky lawmakers react.
And today we're in Bullitt County. First day of school. This Monday brings back to school. The superintendent also explains why they send out the final schedule with just days to go. Right now at 5 on WHAS 11 News. We begin here at 5 with updates to some late breaking news. A Jefferson County school bus was hit by a falling tree branch. Yes, a falling tree branch on the way home from school this afternoon. This happening in Jeffersontown. J-Town police on the scene right now at Watterson Trail. They say bus number 1764 from Cochran Elementary School was on the road when a tree branch went right through the windshield, shattering the glass.
Yeah, some scary moments for the driver and students, but luckily that bus driver suffered very minor injuries according to police, and 9 to 10 students were scratched by glass and the tree, but we are told are otherwise okay.
You could debate whether it's Wildcat country or Cardinal country, but the one thing that we all have in common, it is Ford country.
The Ford's CEO connecting locally right there this morning. Now tonight, the CEO of Ford Motor Company, Jim Farley, visiting the Louisville assembly plant today for a major announcement. Ford is investing $2 billion into the factory to build what they call their universal electric vehicle model for the everyday driver. And it's a new EV midsize pickup truck, and according to the company, it will cost $30,000. Ford says it'll also be one of the most affordable of its kind, available for customers starting in 2027. Our Isaiah Kim Martinez and senior photojournalist Alyssa Newton report from inside Louisville's oldest Ford plant, where the new pickup will be produced.
The inside of the Louisville assembly plant is going to be gutted as Ford phases out the Escape and brings on a brand new electric vehicle. These assembly lines are going to look completely different.
Breaking up the vehicle into 3 different sub-assembly lines in parallel. And what that's actually doing is shrinking the overall time to go from start to finish.
We will spend $2 billion here in Louisville modernizing this plant.
Ford President and CEO Jim Farley at the Louisville assembly plant is doubling down on the plan to build an all-electric vehicle that's affordable for the everyday driver at a price tag of $30,000.
Sir, how do you keep the cost so low with tariffs, those import taxes? How are you going to keep this at $30,000?
Well, that's why we did all the innovation. 20 to 30% less parts, 40% less time in assembly. It's just a radical approach.
Ford is radically changing the traditional assembly line. To cut costs, the plan is to use a smaller battery, automation, and AI. Ford says this investment secures the jobs of 2,200 hourly workers at LAP. There are nearly 3,000 of them right now, raising the question, will they all keep their jobs here? The answer from officials is coming up right here at 6. Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS 11 on your side.
And this is all part of a $5 billion total investment by Ford, split between Louisville and Michigan. Now, the company says it's going to produce the batteries for these new EVs in Louisville at its plant in Michigan, not at the Blue Oval SK battery plant just down the road in I-65 there in Hardin County. Well, this announcement would explain why the company announced the Ford plant would close for remodeling at the end of 2025. Ford says the Louisville assembly plant, again down by the airport, would close its doors to retool the inside of the factory. UAW Local 862 President Todd Dunn told WHAS 11 News in April they were gutting the plant to make way for electric vehicle manufacturing. Dunn said that the upcoming temporary closure is expected to last anywhere from 8 to 10 months. And as the city makes moves to become an EV hub, Charlestown Fire is making sure they're prepared to handle electric vehicle fires. The lithium batteries in these cars burn differently than a gasoline fire because of the way the batteries store energy. Fires can start hours or days after an incident. Charleston, Indiana Fire Department now has a fire cloak specifically for EV fires because water will not help stop a lithium battery fire.
They are the first fire department in Clark County, Indiana, to have this very specialized training. Now we move to the story that has certainly stunned this community since Friday. 32-year-old Armand Langford, accused of kidnapping, bank robbery, and assault, going in front of an arraignment court judge today.
And that arraignment was pushed back to the afternoon after he was deemed uncooperative this morning. Langford was arrested Friday after an hours-long manhunt. Police say he kidnapped a woman and her 2 kids, forcing her to drive to the PNC Bank on Shelbyville Road.
That bank, of course, located right near Oxmoor Center. There, he allegedly demanded $20,000 from the bank teller. This all happening on Friday morning. Police searching for 6 hours before finding and then arresting Langford. WHAS 11's Alexandra Goldberg and photojournalist Jessica Farley cover his court appearance.
So, Mr. Langford, today is your arraignment.
32-year-old Armand Langford appearing in orange, surrounded by an entourage of 5 corrections officers on Monday afternoon in front of a judge who read his charges.
5 counts of robbery, first degree, 2 counts, 1 count of kidnapping adult, 1 count of kidnapping minor, another additional kidnapping minor, and 1 count of assault first degree.
Langford is accused of forcing a Louisville mother and her 2 young children into their own car during a home invasion in Linden. Police say Langford forced the woman to drive to PNC Bank on Shelbyville Road with a knife to her throat. Police say he demanded $20,000, stabbed the woman in the stomach, and ran. The victim's husband, Brandon Strong,
immediately your heart sinks.
speaking on Friday, moments after Langford was arrested.
It was just complete rage, confusion. You're very obviously upset. I need to get there right now.
Now, talking for the very first time about the case, lead detective Ashley Schaefer with Louisville Metro Police.
I've never worked anything like this in my entire time with the robbery unit. It's normal to have a bank robbery. It's normal to have a business robbery. It's not normal to have all these other factors.
Judge Jennifer Libson saying when he was arrested, police found him with a large knife, a large sum of cash, and a confession.
Gave a taped Mirandai statement admitting to his involvement in the incidents. Offender also admitted to prior business robberies.
Those prior business robberies landed him in prison for 14 years, sentenced in February 2024 for a string of ATM robberies. He only served about 5 months when Judge Jessica Green let him off on shock probation in July 2024. But some state lawmakers in support of House Bill 5 say the new Kentucky law means different outcomes in the courtroom.
Anyone who is convicted of a violent felony in the state of Kentucky now will serve at least 85% of their sentence behind bars.
Kentucky Representative Republican Jared Bauman of Louisville is a major supporter of the Safer Kentucky Act. It took effect after Langford's case went to court.
To ensure that the terrible decisions judges are making in our community no longer impact the honest citizens in Louisville, and really ensuring that violent criminals, repeat offenders, stay behind bars for lengths of time that are commensurate with their crime.
And I think that's my biggest priority, is be able to look at the mom and the 2 kids and get the best result that we can. Keep him in custody and get a good sentence.
Langford walking out of his arraignment and the judge giving him a $1 million bond.
The court is going to leave the bond at $1 million.
In Louisville, Alexandra Goldberg, WHAS 11, on your side.
By the way, we did get Judge Jessica Green on the phone today. She told us it was against her professional standards to comment on any case.
A Louisville mother was arraigned today after police say she beat her child with a hammer. Zainab Abdi is charged with attempted murder, assault, and criminal abuse of a child. LMPD arrested Abdi after finding her 6-year-old daughter with multiple blunt force injuries to her head in June. She faced a judge today where her bond was set at $500,000. She's expected back in court in October.
Really felt hot across Kentucky and today. The heat wave seems to have returned. You know, we thought it was hot starting back after late May into June.
No thinking about it, it was hot.
This was a scorcher there, Mallory.
Yeah. Yes, and these 90s, they're sticking with us. They are hanging tough through much of that 7-day forecast. Taking a live look outside over the Ohio this evening from our Bachman Auto Group U of L health camera, you can see mostly sunny skies out there. Temperatures have climbed into the lower 90s, feeling like the mid to upper 90s 90s, all thanks to our dew points well into the 60s. A few areas in Kentuckiana do have dew points in the lower 70s. And of course, that's going to push that feels like temperature or that heat index closer to the triple-digit mark. We're also not seeing much in the way of wind. This has been the case for the last several days. Very light winds with this kind of weather pattern that we're under. So not much of a breeze to cool you off this evening. Max HG radar primarily dry across Kentuckiana. We do have a few pop-up showers or storms more so off to the east, closer to the Lexington metro area. But of course, we'll hold just a very spotty chance through this evening with all this heat and humidity around. That would be through about sunset. Temperatures in the 90s will drop into the 80s by about 7 p.m. and eventually the 70s overnight, staying mild and muggy to kick off tomorrow. And then once again tomorrow afternoon, we're back up into the upper 80s to lower 90s. The one change with tomorrow is we are tracking a better chance for some scattered storms by the afternoon and evening. We'll be timing that out coming up in our extended forecast.
Mallory, thank you very much. We'll talk about a total meltdown today. All driver's license branch appointments were canceled today after a statewide network outage here in Kentucky. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet saying an issue with its license vendor system was discovered, forcing it to reschedule all of the appointments for driver's licenses. Appointment holders and walk-in customers were given renewal forms to return for expedited service or codes to return home and then renew online at a later time. The Kentucky Cabinet has not said whether this will impact operations tomorrow. We'll keep you updated on our website. That's WHAS11.com.
Well, it's hard to believe, but we are only 3 days away from the start of the Kentucky State Fair. Held in Louisville, the State Fair will offer nightly concerts, horse shows, rides, and plenty of other activities, of course, for Kentuckians to enjoy. And of course, there will be plenty of food, whether it's brand new to the fair this year or a yearly staple. Lexi Ratterman, the fair event organizer, says that the breweries make the fair feel special.
You guys, as the breweries, you make this event what it is, you know. They're all local, and that's what the fair is all about, really celebrating what Kentucky has to offer, like the beer.
And the fair will host the 3rd annual Beer Fest next week, featuring drinks from 24 breweries across the country. WHAS 11 will be at the fair on August 14th to cover all the fun on opening day. For our State Fair guide, just text FAIR to 502-582-7290. We also have it posted on our homepage.
Right after this, the other major news this morning, President Donald Trump announcing a federal takeover of the Washington, D.C. police, the district for what he calls excessive crime in the capital city. But according to the mayor of D.C., that's not the case.
Plus, parents finally have bus routes for their students in Bullitt County. Those routes released just before they start classes tomorrow.